that I have chosen for the past 13 years, and for some people to take it as a joke or to try to convince us that we should not be together for X, Y, and Z, when we have already proven that we are a great team and that we can do everything that a heterosexual couple can and have lasted much longer than most heterosexual couples have these days.
And Shauna, what?
When I was little, some of my friends couldn't come to my house because my mom was gay, and other parents used to say, no, I had to come to their house.
It's definitely a stigma, especially that we're not only a gay couple, but we're also an interracial couple. And there have been times, Sandra, you want to talk about when you asked to marry me years and years ago?
Well, I asked Rosemary to marry me, and wow.
We went down to the
Went down to the Presbyterian church, and I felt like that, you know, it wouldn't really make a difference if we did get married, because nothing really change, because it would not be accepted under the marriage law that
right, the state would not
accept
it. The church would. They said that God, the church, and us could make a pact or somewhat of a covenant, but we could not have the same kind of arrangement with the state of New York. So even with the civil union that they're lately been talking about, I still feel that it is still a way to signal out and discriminate. So if you're married, that's great, but if you have a civil union, that's less than. And that's not exactly what we're reaching for. We're reaching for equality, not the continued inequalities that have been coming at us, not only racial in nature, but also in our sexual orientation and our sexual preference to loving and having a good home.
Talking about same-sex marriage, legalizing same-sex marriage in New York State. And you guys are obviously a straight couple.
Yes.
How long have you guys been married?
44 years and
44 years.
2 years and 2 months, something like that.
So you're what's called straight allies.
Right.
And how did you get into all of this?
Well, the initial event that I remember is that we moved into a new house in a new development, and a few weeks or maybe a little longer from that time, 2 gentlemen showed up at our door on a Sunday afternoon. One had a glass of 4 glasses, and the other had a bottle of champagne. And they said, "We are your neighbors, and we'd like to see your house." So we invited them in, enjoyed the champagne, and thus began a friendship. They lived only a short distance away from us, and we got to know them pretty well. Our children got to know them and visit them. They went to see the dog and learn about. One of our daughters is now a biologist, a scientist in New Orleans, and I think she learned some of her initial interests in biology and plants particularly, is talking about our friends in the gay community. It just wasn't right, and we spoke out against it.
I think one of the important things is that we found early on that as a straight married couple, we could write legislators when the Assembly was thinking about equal rights for lesbians and gays far before the state Senate. And and we knew that there were many, maybe most gay and lesbian people couldn't write, or they could lose their job, they could lose their apartment. They had a lot to lose, and we had nothing to lose. And we assumed in most cases, that the legislator was also married, and therefore, so that he, in those cases, was like us. So we were approaching him as an equal, we're the same as you, and we feel strongly about this civil rights issue.
And so here we are in 2006. It looks quite likely that the next governor of New York State is going to be Eliot Spitzer, who is solidly behind legalizing same-sex marriage in New York, which changes the political landscape entirely. So I imagine it's going to be hard work, but it looks like there's a possibility, and it's going to be up to everybody, including straight allies, to push it forward. So I imagine you've been active, and you're ready to take this next step in the struggle.
We've already been guests at a gay wedding.
All right.
It took place in Niagara Falls, Ontario.
Oh, okay.
It was a lovely day, and it's it should happen right here.
Well, we're looking forward to that day, and thank you guys so much for your leadership in the past and continued leadership. New York State, the polls show that a majority of New York State residents do support same-sex marriage. I mean, but marriage, it's almost like a hokey institution. I mean, why marriage? I mean, I'm assuming that you'd like to get married.
Yes, I would, very much so.
Well, I mean, what does it mean to you?
And to me, it means making a strong commitment to someone else that you really care for, and wanting everyone to know about it. And as a gay single male, I'm kind of partial to that. And yeah, I would love to get married. I always dreamt of that little house with a white picket fence, the cat and the dog, going over to the in-laws for dinner, or visiting friends, having board night, going out to a movie, coffee, dinner, travel, all that kind of stuff. And it doesn't matter, if you're straight, gay, bi, whatever. As long as the two people are happy, what does it matter?
Mm-hmm. So certainly you can do that now. What would be different? What would be different about rights and responsibilities if you were to be married? What would change? What would be the difference between people who would be dating and living together and being married?
Well, you would have more of the rights and responsibilities of a so-called straight married couple that they have today. You were able to, if something, say, hopefully not, should happen to them and they're in the hospital, then either I or my spouse or partner or husband would be able to take over in any case of emergency, and be able to visit, which pretty much now in most hospitals you can. They don't have much of a problem with that. As a matter of fact, with my one ex who had a heart attack at Strong, an area hospital here, and it's a very big hospital, and I was able to. They let me come in. He was in ICU. I was able to come in, spend the whole day, every day, and nobody batted an eyelash. Mm-hmm. But yet, it didn't feel right because it still wasn't. There wasn't a law saying that I had a right to be there.
So that's Strong, you said? So Strong has forward-thinking policies, perhaps, but there's no law to back it up. So any hospital could step up and keep you away unless they've got some sort of corporate policy.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
It's at any time they could have told me that you have to leave, and I would have had to have left because I'm not a family member.
Right.
According to the law here in New York State.